everybody. It's your boy Mark here, and we're going to be playing more SC2VN. I'm looking outside my window right now, and there's such a great looking sunset, but like the later half of one, hence why I can get the nice lighting from that. It looks so great. I just bumped the microphone. Oh jeez, I'm sorry. So let's just get right into it. Without any idea where Stunt's house was, I had the cab drop him off at the stomping grounds. The last thing I remember was a glare capable of killing small animals from his mother. I returned from the sink with a glass of water and fall into my computer chair. It's too early for a ladder, but I might see what's going on. Wait a second, what? Oh my god, so what did you do? Cell blasts off to new squad, crash coach, claims poach, VIP, MVP, MIA. Oh my god, so what'd you do? Every StarCraft fan site is abuzz with the news that Jet and Acel are ditching their teams. Accusations of collusion, conspiracy, and corruption among Korean and Western fans alike. A laundry list of crash coaches' missteps ranks second to an interview where he shifts the blame onto Acel. With the scent of drama in the air, debate rages wildly on both sides. When Acel said he had a better idea in mind, he had no idea he meant something like this. Jet's new team is the new talk of the entire StarCraft community. I rushed into the game client, abusing the login button with a dozen clicks a second until I'm finally in. Acel is online, as is the rest of our team. Before I can even open a chat window, an invite from Jet throws me into an underway group conversation. Text messages appear almost as quickly as I can read them. What the hell's wrong with you? Hey, relax. You know what they say about publicity. Lol, holy shit, dude, this is hilarious. Rolling on the floor laughing. Word that stunt. Mock and I are joining. Mock and I are joining is out. I've received multiple requests for interviews. You should do it. You don't understand. What's the deal with Enoch? Wasn't official. This is going to screw us. Hey, I didn't mention Enoch by name. Just finish the deal and we'll be fine. Yeah, what's stopping that Kim dude from signing us? Acel is kinda right. We have a buzz going on. They're saying I poached you. I wouldn't have gotten back at your coach some other way. Nope, I'll get back him one more when I stomp Crash in Team League. It would be prudent to speak with Mr. Kim as soon as possible, Jet. I know. We're meeting at the Namdan ASAP, the park by the VSL studio. Everyone, no exceptions. KK, lol. The diamond next to Jet's portrait changes from green to black. Acel quickly follows suit and then stunt, leaving me in the chat room alone with Reva. Be fast. I'll blow up your phone with text otherwise. I will. Goodbye. With nothing else keeping me at home, I hurry to shut off my PC and dress. I take the stairs of my apartment building 2 at a time and make my way onto their street. What a mess. How terrible would it be to have spent all of last night celebrating for nothing? Truth be told, whether Acel leaked the information now or let it come out on its own, we'd eventually get this reaction. Enoch wouldn't have signed us without our proper background research anyway. Maybe it's alright for this to be out in the open ahead of time. I set those thoughts aside when Namdan Park comes into view. Or Namdan? I don't know. Probably Namdan. The crowded tree line and trimmed green is a welcome departure from Seoul's endless concrete. Jet didn't specify where at the park she wanted us to meet, but that didn't take long before I find her staring down a seated Acel. She's in the middle of chewing him out. Thought it would be hard to tell by the grin he's wearing. Have you seen what they're saying online? The team has to stand out somehow. Better this than limping into the scene and wallowing in obscurity. We should stand out by winning games, not by stirring up shit. That wasn't your decision to make. Acel is the first to notice my arrival and waves me over. Jet's acknowledgement follows, though it's far less welcoming. Did you know he was going to pull something like this? What? No. Relax, Jet, seriously. Worrying will give you gray hairs. I'll relax the moment that I'm staring at a contract for 6 months of funding. Jet's stance grows rigid at the buzz of her phone. She rips out her pocket and stares at the screen. Who is it? Kim. He wants us to meet at the Enoch office to sort out this mess. That's a good thing, right? He wouldn't bother to have us come out if the answer was going to be a no. She doesn't seem to agree with the time it takes her to reply. I share a glance with Estelle before Jet shoves the phone back into her pocket and turns to me. We need to get moving. Estelle, what year for Stunt and Rava? Fine by me. Estelle takes in a deep breath and returns to his bench, no doubt happy to relax while someone handles the stress of a meeting. I'm coming with you? I'm not enough of a jerk to leave Stunt and Rava alone at the park for an hour, but I need someone at my back. When you put it that way, alright. Then come on, it's not that far. Without a moment to spare, Jet storms off. Estelle offers me a leisurely wave as I hurry after her. Oh my gosh. Let me do most of the talking, but chime in if it makes sense. Alright. Nervous? No. Don't lie to me. I'm nervous. It's fine to be nervous. I'm fine. When the elevator opens, a well-dressed Enoch employee greets us with a smile and gestures down the hall. Mr. Kim is anticipating your arrival. This way, please. I follow Jet through a typical corporate office. Inside, a table seats Mr. Kim, his attention set on a laptop. He glances past the screen to acknowledge us with a beckon forward. Jet, Mach, please, sit. We take our seats opposite of him. The secretary closes the boardroom's door, leaving 3 of us on our own. After a few more taps of his laptop's touch screen, Mr. Kim turns the computer towards us and gestures sharply to it. What is this? On display is the comment section of a popular Korean esports news site. Line after line portrays Jet and Estelle as shady and unskilled. And I thought that the English sites were bad. Before I can read another comment, Mr. Kim forces the laptop shut with a grimace. When I spoke of my interest to sponsor your team with the board, most were hesitant to take the risk with my assurance that the investment would be worth it in the end. Given the recent developments, I'll simply have to retract my recommendation and take the hit to my reputation. Your team has become a liability without having played a single game. He rests his finger on his brow, expression fraught. This is worse than Jet and I planned for. Do you have anything to say? This wasn't the reaction that we were hoping for, but it shows that people are paying attention to us. Not all attention is created equal. What is most important is that an Enoch team has a large number of supporters, not slack-jawed and passive observers, fans that are invested in the team's victory. You'll immediately have 5 people invested in Enoch Squad if you sign us. Through narrowed eyes, Mr. Kim shifts his eyes in my direction. Mach, I should say that you are a large part of the doubt plaguing a possible sponsorship deal. I blink once, taken back. Me? Are you truly surprised? Your ability is completely unproven. While Estelle and Jet may have their integrity questioned, it's you who fans Mach. If our fan base doesn't have faith in your ability to win games, then of what use are you? What? I'm a good player. I just need to prove it. I just need time to prove it. Time that you haven't earned. I hear myself tripping over my next protest. Right, then Jet cuts in. Mr. Kim, there must be something that we can do. Sal and I are high profile. Even with a rocky start, we both have loyal fans that will follow us to a new team. That may be so, but the public perception of Mach remains an issue. Is it worth the trouble of keeping him on when your reputation has been compromised? He links his fingers together and glances between the 2 of us, waiting for an answer. Jet closes her eyes and runs a hand through her hair. She takes a long moment to decide on what to say next. much to Mr. Kim's interest. We could arrange something to fix that. Oh? Elaborate. A show match. The perfect chance to showcase Mock's ability to compete. Against someone from your team? Fans will assume that the match is fixed on his behalf. No, I have someone else in mind. Someone who StarCraft fans know and respect, and that Mock owes a beating. She turns towards and locks eyes with me. Is she talking about a show match with Bolt? I mean, you're not allowed to turn this down. I wasn't planning on it, just how are you going to get him to agree? I know Bolt well. He'll jump at the chance to publicly humiliate someone he doesn't like. A best of 5 will do nicely, and I think it would be fair for Enoch to put half a month's worth of team funding in as the prize. Wouldn't you say? Jet turns away from me and towards Mr. Kim. For the first time since we stepped in the room, the businessman cracks a smile. If you ever decide to leave StarCraft behind, you're welcome to interview for any open sales positions at Enoch, Jet. Very well. If Mock is victorious in this show match, I'll consider your team's reputation redeemed. I don't bother asking what will happen if I lose. God, what did I do to deserve this pressure? Would you mind speaking with the producers at the VSL studio to see if they would be willing to host us? A week from today is short notice, but we don't have any longer to waste. I'll have it done. You're very lucky to have someone like Jet as your team captain, Mock. When I respond, he smirks. When I don't respond. Satisfied, Mr. Kim rises from his leather office chair. Jet and I quickly follow suit and exchange handshakes with him. As he meets his palm with mine, Mr. Kim leans in forward and whispers to me. For the record, I'd greatly prefer to see you succeed. Don't let a mistake in the next week end your career before it's begun. Nonchalantly, he parts from our grip and departs the conference room with long strides. His secretary skitters after him down the hallway, leaving Jet and me to find our way back to the elevator. Well, you came to Golden Zone Fire looking for a chance. Now you've got one. Happy? You stuck up for me. Yes, and? I guess I thought that you would have done what was best for the team. Who said I'm not? Mr. Kim? I don't recall putting him in charge of team management. What kind of team captain would I be if I tossed you out onto the street after recruiting Stunt and Reva? I don't know. You said yourself that you wouldn't put the goals of our friendship ahead of goals of our team. Oh, in that case, it's not too late for me to go tell Mr. Kim I've changed my mind. If you insist on paying me back, do so by practicing hard and beating the shit out of Bolt. It's been way too long since I've seen him lose in person. And for the record, I know what I said, but the more I think about it, the more messed up it seems that we'd have to waste our careers with people we hate. So, for now, I've decided that I like you. Don't make me regret that. So much for cold efficiency, and I'll do my best. As is expected of anyone that wears my team's colors. Now, come on, before someone mistakes a cell for a bum. Just before the elevator doors close, Mr. Kim turns the corner of his office and watches us go. Alright. My legs are sore by the time we make it back to the Namdan. Weeks of huddling up in my apartment obviously haven't been great for my personal fitness. I catch sight of Stunt by his wild hair. He's the first to notice Jet and calls me... notices Jet. He's first to notice Jet and me and calls us with a wave. Whew. Yo, is the team dead? Not yet, and not for a while if our plan works out. Acel sits up from his reclined position while Reva has hardly moved at all since she came into view. Plan? Mock is going to win a show match. Reva takes hold of her glasses, gears visibly turning her head as she works out the point of a show match. Sal and Stun simply look to me for the answer. Mr. Kim agreed to sponsor us if we can redeem the team's image. I have to win a series against Bolt. Bolt? That surly Protoss on Shock? He's a Brood War player, though. He plays Star 2 on his own time. With money and the chance to embarrass a foreigner on the line, he has to accept. And you're okay with this, Mock? Sal glances in my direction, genuine concern etched in his expression. He seems to be picking up the doubt I'm feeling. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm going to practice as hard as I can for the next week. As will Bolt. I don't have anything to say to that. She's right after all. The five of us take a moment to reflect on the severity of the situation. Gradually, I find the eyes of my teammates drifting towards me. I cleat the sweat from my palms and steady myself with a breath. I'm sure that I can handle this, but not on my own. Obviously, listen, he's a Protoss. I'm down to grind endless games. You and me, Mach. Bolt's play has more depth than proxies and one base all-ins. Do you have a better idea? What the hell would he get out of practicing with a Terran or a Zerg? Sutton pulls out his phone and dons a stubborn expression. Jet rolls her eyes and glances past him. Everyone has a role in making sure that this team lives on, past a botched show match. She winces and glances begrudgingly towards the young Protoss' direction. Be the only one of us that plays Protoss enough to spar with Mach, but this is still a group effort. Asel, you get to test out your coaching chops. He raises a thumb without bothering to stand. You know it. Reva, work with Mach on openings and strategies, and I'll see what I can do to get my hands on a few of Bolt's replays. Affirmative. We don't have any time to waste. Bolt's going to be preparing for this match with a KPGA regimen. Think you can handle 14 hours a day, Mach? I don't need to practice long, I just need to practice smart. You need to do both. Yeah, she's right. It's only for a week anyway. The idea of 14 hours of high-level StarCraft is enough to make my wrists sore. Still, I have to live up to my team's expectations. Alright, do we start tonight? Obviously. Just stares enough to get him to spit it out. I kinda maybe sorta promised my mom that I'd make up all the chores I've been skipping out on at our PC bang. Look, I thought the team was definitely over, okay? We're StarCraft players. We don't pretend you guys don't know the importance of time efficiency. I need to start smoothing over things with her if I'm going to move out. Come on, don't look at me like that. Useless. Whatever. We'll meet up at Golden Zone Fire tomorrow, and every day after that, up until the show match. Mach, just ladder tonight. Right. Reva, are you free? Yeah. Yes. Why you ask? Go with Mach and watch him ladder for the rest of the day. See if you can pick up on any holes in his play. The command seems to catch Reva off guard. She looks at the ground, at me, then at the ground. Very well. I've got to confirm the schedule of Bolt. Among other things, with me, Asel. Should have guessed. Right then. Son, go handle your bullshit. Golden Zone Fire tomorrow morning. Go, everyone. Go. Asel peels himself off the bench and falls in line beside Jet. Stun's quick to follow, though he turns out of the park in a different direction. I share a glance with Reva and scratch behind my head. I was actually planning on going back to my apartment, if I'm just going to ladder. Oh, should I return home? No, why don't you meet me there in an hour? You won't need to stay too long, I don't think. It's not hard to seem awkward about the proposal. Even the normally inexpressive Reva has trouble answering casually. Very well. I will run an errand in the meantime. After sharing the location of my apartment with a map on my phone, I bid her farewell. Reva fades along the green of Namdan when I trace back the path I took this morning. My glazed over eyes remain locked with the pavement as I amble my way home. I know that I should feel relieved that our team still has a chance of coming together, but I can't help but worry. I'm not carrying around the weight of my failed attempts to qualify for the VSL anymore. This is different. It's anxiety, a tightness in my chest that threatens to strangle me if I let everyone down. I don't know what I expected. It's not like it's going to get easier from here anyway. Every week in Team League, there will be a chance to cost my team another loss. More than anything else, I'm frustrated by Mr. Kim's doubt. It's one thing for my friends and parents to misunderstand me, but Mr. Kim made an informed judgment that I'm not worth the trouble. I jammed my fists into my pockets and exhaled deeply. If I ever doubted that esports was brutal, I don't any longer. Short as the walk is, I don't find my nerves calming as I settle into my pace. A pack of energy drinks might help me douse my angst, so I decide to cut a detour that'll take me past Go-Mart. I should probably pick up something for Ava too. It'd be a pretty classless move to make her watch me grind out ladder games without offering anything in return. What would Rava like? My older brother used to always make me watch him play games back when we were kids. This is different though. She's not watching me for fun. She's watching me to tell me how badly I suck. I brushed past another customer on my way into Go-Mart and glanced towards the register. Mr. Yeon smiles in my direction, but then immediately walks into the store's back room. I don't waste time browsing and head straight for the refrigerators. By the time I'm done shopping, Mr. Yeon comes out from the back room with a brown box in hand and makes his way back to the register. I set my bottles and cans down on the counter and offer the old man a nod. Hello, this is all for today. In a rush, are we? Oh, not really. Why? With word that I won't run off, Mr. Yeon smiles and hoists the box up onto the counter, pushing aside my drinks in the process. I blink, dumbfounded. Before I can ask what he's doing, he clicks open a latch and reveals the wooden board on the underside of the box's lid. He flips it up and sets the box between us in the place where a customer might expect to have groceries rung up. A cloth sack rests beside the game board, the contents of which clack one against another on the counter. He pulls an object out of the bag and shows it to me. Have you ever played Go? Go, huh? It's a board game that's mostly played in Asia, held in esteem similar to chess. Without meaning to, I asked the first question on my mind. Is this because I told you about my pro gaming career? Let's just say I wouldn't be showing it to you if you didn't. We'll go over the rules and play around. Just one. And my whim will be satisfied. Alright. This is strange, but if I want to keep shopping at Go-Mart, turning down Mr. Yeon will make our future interactions uncomfortable. Better for one extremely awkward game of Go than an infinite amount of semi-awkward trips to the convenience store. Oh, that's us. Hey! I mean, I'm a little sad. I'm sad, boy. So sad. Oh. Anyway, so Mr. Yeon pours the contents of the bag into wooden cups beside the board. On closer inspection, they appear worn and scratched up. The board itself isn't in great condition either. The corners are chipped and its lacquer is long faded. Even though I never played, I'm familiar with the premise of Go. Mr. Yeon explains the basic rules thoroughly either way. The main objective is to control and capture space by surrounding your opponent's pieces. It's not unlike StarCraft in that sense, only there's no advantage in quick fingers. Even if I'm aware of the basics, I don't have the faintest clue about the game's strategy. What is this supposed to accomplish? Once Mr. Yeon is finished explaining the rules, he motions towards my stones. Black takes the first move. You may begin whenever you're ready. Okay, for the record, I have no idea what I'm doing here. That's alright, just play on instinct. It's hard to hide the confusion I'm feeling, but I agree and shuffle a handful of black stones in my direction anyway. If the point of go is to control space, it seems a good idea to some form of basic structure that I can play off of later. But not 5 turns into the game, Mr. Yeon begins placing his pieces dangerously close to mine. When I look up from the board, he answers me only with a smile. Soon he begins capturing my stones with relentless efficiency, never allowing me to challenge his position when I'm so focused on protecting my own. I fight back to defend my territory, but the clerk's plan is always a step ahead. I fix the board with an intense stare, certain that I can somehow unlock the intricacies of Go by demanding it of myself. When the board is halfway full, it becomes readily apparent that I'm going to lose. Mr. Yeon glances up from the board with a raised eyebrow, smile ever present. Would you care to stop? I mean, I don't mean to keep you for too long. No, it's fine. Let's finish. After turning down the chance to concede, it feels appropriate that I'd somehow stage an amazing comeback, but the beatdown only continues. Towards the end of the match, Mr. Yeon manages to capture more than half of my stones in a single move. My displeasure makes itself apparent with a groan. I deliver my last few turns to the board hard enough to echo a clack throughout the store. Mr. Yeon scratches his chin casually, scanning the carnage he's wrought on my pieces. I don't see any possible moves. I pass. And I pass too. That means the game is over, right? That is correct. I release the breath I've been holding in. Relieved. I'm so glad we live in an era where video games exist. The old man replaces his Go set in the bag and box and clears the counter of our diversion. Yet, instead of reaching for my drinks to scan, he sets his eyes on me. You play to avoid losing. I feel a frown form on my face. Why exactly am I getting a lesson on an Easter board game from a cashier? I don't say anything, so he continues. Specifically, you play to avoid the pain of loss. It's clear to see when you have no learned habits or memorized strategies. There's nothing inherently wrong with playing that way, but you should be aware of the fact I'm a firm believer that games showcase personality in its purest form. Was this whole thing just an excuse to share some wisdom you couldn't think of any other way to bring up? I said that with more disrespect than I should have. Nevertheless, Mr. Yeon's slight smile doesn't falter. Perhaps, or perhaps I'm looking for a conversation. You didn't quit when I gave you the chance. That's good, but you can only go so far without playing for the win. StarCraft isn't so different from Go. I know that because life isn't so different from Go. Strive to win, Mach, not to lose. I don't understand. Try to. It's an important lesson. A serious glint flickers across Mr. Yeon's face for a fraction of a second. When it's gone, he looks no different than before. There's no one else that moves those drinks off the shelf like you. I'm incentivized to have you succeed and stick around. You see. He lets out a laugh, one that continues only until I smile politely in response. When he's done, Mr. Yeon rings up my drinks and hurries them into a bag. Right, off you go. I won't ask you to play again with me, unless you'd like to. Alright. I lower my head in a bow, not the type reserved for venerable? I don't know, elder, but at least one to show that I'm thankful. And then something about the door. In a roundabout way, I think Mr. Yeon's little diversion might actually help. It's nice to see that he cares enough about me to offer advice, even if it's just because I shop at his store. Whether or not business about Go and not losing is true remains to be seen. Is an aversion to losing really that ingrained in my DNA? Go, Mart. Huh. Alright, Mr. Yeon, I'll admit, it's pretty clever. It seems much darker outside when I came into the store. I reached to check the time on. Shit, I have half a dozen missed calls from Reva. Did that Go match seriously take more than an hour? An urgent need to get back to my apartment replaces my thoughts of Mr. Yeon and board games. I weave through the pedestrians I can while I simultaneously texting an apology to Reva. My feet carry me as fast as I can. If Reva got tired of waiting at my front door and left, I'm screwed. I pant my way to my apartment stairs and pause in the hallway to find that she isn't there. Frustrated, I sigh and force open my door. I'm dead. I'm so dead. Why didn't I keep track of the time? Why now? Why when so much is on the line? As I rack back my brain for an excuse I can offer Jen, I look up to find that my apartment is already occupied. You are late. She rises from her seat on my bed and points at the computer. Ladder. How are you in my room? The door was not locked. I let myself in when you failed to answer my calls. You just came in? Yes. My breathing calms as panic subsides. Forgot to lock my door, huh? I guess this is better than trying to find my computer missing. Right. Okay, sorry. I got caught up with some old guy. Here. With a rustle, I reach into the bag carrying a drink for Reva. Charge. Caught up? Reva takes my offering without so much looking into it. Whether or not she's actually going to drink it, I'm done with my due diligence as a host. It's hard to explain. You do not need to explain your relationship with an old man if you'd rather not. Even though I'm pretty sure it's a joke, Reva doesn't smile to show it. I offer a nervous laugh and fall into my computer chair, trying to move on from the topic of my tardiness. So, right, ladder. Is there something you think I need to practice? You'll want to match against a Protoss players only. Quit the match if your opponent is Terran or a Zerg. Wait, but my ranking! With few keystrokes, I display my proudly earned Grandmaster badge, accompanied by rank in double digits. If I leave 2/3 my games tonight, I'm going to lose a bunch of ladder points. Are your ladder points really that important? Absolutely. Well, without a word, Reva takes the mouse from me and logs out of StarCraft 2. Fingers dance across the keyboard. A second later, we're logged into our barcode account. The Grandmaster badge accompanying Reva's anonymous username is ranked even higher than mine. Play on this one. I do not care about the ladder rank, and neither should you. I scratch behind my head and have the sense of look embarrassed. She's right. It's pretty dumb for me to worry about a ladder rank at a time like this. With a nod and a click, I search for my sorry everybody, this is a double episode. It takes a handful of games before I'm finally matched up against a Protoss. Ugh, he's got one of those weird names with random capitalization. Reva sits just over my shoulder from the edge of my bed, eyes fast on the monitor. Your APM is low. Okay, so, I hope you all enjoyed the episode. This is a long one, and yeah, this was a pretty interesting one, hence why I got so ingrained to record this for 33 minutes. So, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed the episode. I'm interested to see where this story continues on, and other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to see any other future videos I upload, and other than that, I'll see you on the next one. Toodles!